Hey brother! Jay, yesterday Pixar released its very first trailer for its newest original, Coco. And man, whenever you get new content for an original Pixar movie, it's like a holiday, which is super fitting because this movie is almost entirely based on the Mexican holiday, Dia De Los Muertos. In case you haven't seen the trailer yet, I highly recommend you go check it out before watching this video. Link is in the description below. If you have seen it, great, because today we are going to be giving our in-depth analysis, review, and predictions for what Coco might be about. Let's start by getting everyone up to speed. Coco will be a Pixar original slated to come out November 22nd of this year. The film follows a boy named Miguel who loves music and lives in a society that loves music, but was born into a family that has a permanent ban on it. Ban on music? Like, what? You're not even allowed to hear it? That seems hard to enforce. But maybe there's good reason. This ban was invoked by his great-great-grandmother who was left by her husband who left to pursue music. Great-great-grandmother. That's your grandparents' grandparents. But it's hard to tell which of his grandmothers are actually alive. Of the 6 characters that are currently listed on IMDb, 3 of them are grandmothers. So it's hard to tell which ones he'll have in the living world and which ones he'll meet in the land of the dead. Hashtag mo grannies, mo problems, am I right? Probably not. Grandmothers are delightful. Despite this ban though, Miguel loves music and looks up to the late Ernesto de la Cruz. And upon visiting his memorial, somehow finds his way into the land of the dead and starts unraveling the mysteries of his family. And that is basically everything we knew. Pixar has been keeping this pretty close to the chest, but now we finally have a trailer, so let's just dive right on in. The opening scenes show us Miguel entering what appears to be a hideout that is covered floor to ceiling in memorabilia for Ernesto de la Cruz and Coke bottles. The collection of stuff is vaguely reminiscent of the Woody's Roundup collection in Toy Story 2, or kind of like Wally's home, or even Mr. Incredible's office. Man, Pixar really loves collections of stuff. And while this looks like a shrine to Ernesto, it is set up very similarly to an altar, a very common gesture from the living to the dead during the holiday Dia De Los Muertos. In case you are unfamiliar with the holiday, it is a 2-day event taking place on November 1st and 2nd. The first day is Dia de los Inocentes, or Day of the Children, or Innocents, and the second day is Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead. During the celebration, families visit gravestones of deceased family members, which are decorated with many of the things we can see in Miguel's altar. What's interesting about Miguel is that he seems to be alone and possibly constructed this altar by himself, and it's more for a hero or idol instead of a family member, and it's for someone who represents the very thing his family hates, which is music. The vaulted ceilings make it look like this could be the attic of the family house, but given the amount of stuff and his family's hatred towards music, I feel like he'd be hard-pressed to get it all up there, and especially because he starts playing music here in a second. Or maybe he just has a very soundproof and flame retardant attic. My guess is that this hideout is actually being provided by a family member who may be subtly more supportive of Miguel's passion, possibly his abuelita, which we do have concept art for. And although we haven't actually seen her on screen yet, the Pixarpedia page for her does describe her as kind, caring, gentle, and nurturing. So, we have a family who prohibits the one thing the main character loves, a supportive grandmother figure who is willing to look past the family values to help them out, a quirky pet sidekick, and we know that the main character runs into a trickster who helps reveal the secret of the family's ancestry. Tell you what, this movie is one friendly ocean away from being Moana. Amongst the memorabilia for Ernesto, there are a few other things in the scene that are commonly associated with the holiday itself. For example, the orange flower petals we see everywhere throughout the trailer are from orange marigolds, which are commonly used during the holiday to decorate gravestones. It is said that the bright color and scent helps guide the dead to the appropriate altar. Appropriately, in case you couldn't tell, these orange marigold petals are exactly what that giant, amazing looking bridge is made out of. Although, I have to say, after seeing it, I was kind of craving nacho cheese Doritos. But let's talk talk about that bridge for a second, because to me it was like the coolest part of the trailer. I loved how the petals seemed to be lit from within, kind of like joy from inside out. My guess on how it's going to work is that during the holiday when everybody is spreading these orange marigold petals, it will form the bridge from the undead city to the altars. I would also bet that it's the only way out, so my guess is that Miguel is going to have to figure out all of his ancestors' secrets before the holiday ends. The marigolds aren't the only holiday tradition Miguel has up though. These banners are known as papel picado, or chiseled paper. This cookie is likely a treat known as pan de muertos, or bread of the dead, and the little skull on top of it is a calvera, or sugar skull. The skulls are used to represent a departed soul, along with all of the other skull imagery in this holiday are largely inspired by the Mexican artist Jose Guadalupe Posada, who is the owner of the greatest Mexican name ever, but also a Mexican Revolution artist. Speaking of artistry though, can we just talk about this for a second? This happens while Miguel is watching Ernesto on TV and teaching himself to play the guitar. And I have to say, Ernesto's passion for music and how it's being represented on this like old TV was highly reminiscent of Chef Gusteau in Ratatouille. But anyway, back to this. Do you know what you are seeing here? Like, do you know why Hank the Septopus from Finding Dory is a septopus and not an octopus? Because 8 is hard to animate. The movement of his fingers are accurately playing the notes that are correctly synced with the music. In the world of animation, that is not a thing. You have not seen that done before. In fact, the animator Chris Chua, who had to work on this particular shot, had this to say about the matter. Feel bad, then multiply by 100. Well done, Chris, we see you. Moving on in the trailer, we see Miguel most likely discovering that his idol Ernesto could also be his great-great-grandfather after this picture breaks and he's able to unfold the other half of the photo. My guess is that this discovery is what prompts Miguel to visit Ernesto's mausoleum to begin with, which is this giant structure if you couldn't tell, and everything else you see here is the Dia De Los Muertos celebration, and all those little lights are candles on different gravestones. From there, we see Miguel grab his ancestor's guitar, strike a chord, and get transported to the land of the dead. Weirdly, his dog, Dante, is not with him during this scene, but does get transported to the land of the dead with him, which I think says something about Dante's character. Dante is a breed of dog called Xoloitzcuintli, or Mexican hairless dog, or Xolo for short. And the lore behind them is actually really interesting. In Aztec mythology, the Xolotl is the god of lightning and death, weirdly, because those things go together, and manifested as a Xolo. He would take this form when he was guiding the dead to Mictlan, which I think is being represented by this dead city here, and I think it's what Dante is doing for Miguel in the movie. And because of the number of names that I had to pronounce that started with X, I think that's just where we're going to call it for today. Honestly though, there is just so much more that we can cover from this trailer, and I actually can't wait to cover it in extensive detail. But Jay, my question for you and everyone else is, what was your favorite part of the trailer? Are you immediately just like so excited for Coco? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the towel section down below. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to see some more Pixar predictions from us, you can click right here to see our latest review of the newest Cars 3 trailer, or if you would like to check out our new Hey Brother t-shirts available at dftba.com, you can click the card, which is somewhere up there. But Jay, that is everything that I've got for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.